Hi folks, welcome back to another review of another power pack, and this is actually the newer version of the one that I sort of had in my van for a while. It powered my van entirely and it's quite unique in that regard. So this is the Afery AF-P210. So we'll go through the specs of it now, just so that you know the power of it and what it can actually do. So I'll put all the spec on the screen right now as I read it out, just so you can see it and visualize it as well. So it's 2048 watt hour battery. So it's got a 230-248 volt inverter as well, pure sine wave inverter, rated at 2400 watts with a peak rated at 4800 watts. On the front, as you can see, you've got some 12 volt connections. And for me, this is where it gets quite interesting now, because at the top, you've got a normal 12 volt cigarette lighter socket. You've then got two of the 12 volt barrel sockets. This cigarette lighter socket's a 10 amp. The two barrel sockets are 3 amp. But then it's got an XT60 connector like the old Afery that I tried out, which was brilliant. Like I say, I just wired the XT60 connector, which is rated at 25 amps at 12 volt. So I wired a fuse board into that, and then wired all my 12 volt appliances. So this ran my diesel heater, my fridge, my lighting, fans. You know, I could obviously charge my phone on the front of there. And that is absolutely fantastic. And I've not seen many products like that for this kind of price point with this much power as well, that's got the ability for it to be, you know, your sole power bank, entire power system in your van that does mains, 12 volt, all that kind of stuff. Or a really good backup one as well. So if you have got a system built into your van already, that you have this as your spare backup plan, and obviously it can still run your inverter, still run your van 12 volt system and everything else on top. So that's pretty cool. So we've got two regular USB connections, and we then got three PD20 watt ports and one PD100. We then got power to switch it on and off, and a little light as well, so we can you know, sort of power it up, power it off. So yeah, everything's got its own little power button. This bit of the side here is where you connect your 230, and that's got a little power button over the top of the flap as well. And yeah, there's three sockets on there, three sockets for 230, 240. On this side are your charge ports. It's got overload protection as well, short circuit protection. Right now I'm using the input, which is the XT90 input, which is 11.5 to 50 volts, 500 watt max. And I'm using it with the Afery 400 watt portable solar panel, which I was quite shocked at. So the last time I sort of weighed one of these portable solar panels, 400 watt one as well, it was 21 kilos. This was 9 kilos. So 400 watts, which we're getting quite close to that at the moment. Bear in mind, it is the very last day of September today, so the sky's not exactly perfect. There's lots of clouds coming over, and like I say, late on in the year as well. So it's not the most ideal situation for, you know, solar energy production, but from this panel, it's absolutely doing the beans. Yeah, like I say, 350, 370. Quite lightweight, like I said, easy to move around, very portable, seems quite robust, and comes with a little pouch on the back where you can store all the little cables and things like that. And that kind of runs in a bit of a theme as well, because this also has an area on top where you can put the user manuals, all the cables, and store them in there. One thing I think is begging for something to be done with it is to put a little magnetic quick charger, like QC3 quick charger, stick it down there, and using that little gap there, plug it into USB, and then you can just place your phone on top and charge your phone wirelessly. That's begging for that, really, isn't it? But otherwise, just leave your cables and everything in there. It does also come with this little bag, which is also got the options of putting cables and everything in there. Right now, the mains cable and obviously the solar cable, which I'm using to charge it. So you could stow those in there or keep them in this little bag. And something quite unique as well that I've not seen, which is an actual bag. So obviously, talk about taking these out and using them in campsite scenarios and, you know, off grid. Well, yeah, to cover it up. Obviously I'm not right now because it's on charge, and this does actually cover it all up. So you can't actually keep this on fully, because obviously the power pack needs to breathe, the fans need to breathe. But that's quite cool as you're carting it around, and that they give you a protective bag as well. I rather like that one. So this weighs 22 kilos. That's so much lighter than the other ones I've been looking at recently, just 22 kilos. So this and the panel are just shy of 30 kilos. And I'm not being funny, but the last solar panel looked at like that was 21 kilos just for the solar panel. So yeah, very lightweight and very compact. And the price point on this right now is just £1,099, which I think is an absolute bargain for what you get in there. I'll put the links down below in the video description. But yeah, that is a beast of a kit. And the construction of it's really robust as well. Very neat design, and everything's packaged well, and the colours are all right, and the logos, it all looks like another company out there. Ooh, that sends sparks through my body. But yeah, definitely works well. Definitely looks the business and is made well. So within 30 kilos, your whole system's done. I would struggle to find another power station and panel with all these features and all this power for under 30 kilos in such a small, really robust design as well. Like I say, I'll put the links down below in the video description to the solar panel and this. As far as charging, just plug in the AC in the side there using the little kettle plug chargers. There's not an external power brick or any mess like that. Just plug that in there. It's an 1100 watt charger, so just over a kilowatt. So yeah, if that is a 2 kilowatt hour battery and it's a kilowatt charge, and if you flatten it, it's going to take you 2 hours to recharge it, roughly speaking anyway. I do like the display on this as well. I think it's really clear. Even in direct sunlight now, I can see the display. I can see the fact that we're connected to power, that it's going to take it around about 4 hours to charge with this level of solar. I can see the solar input there. It says 34% charged, and you can see the little bar indicator coming up. And if I do switch something on like the DC, I can see there that it's saying that the DC outputs are enabled. So these are all enabled, the little lights on there. So I'm not currently plugged into anything mains wise, but you know, I've got my e-bike here, so I could go out for the day, come back, charge that. And I've done that previously so that I go out using all the free energy in the world, knowing that it's charged up when I get back from a setup like this. So I'm not going to the mains. I'm basically generating my own electricity and then using it to have a bit of fun. But a lot of people say, you know, can I get something like this and use it as a hookup for a caravan or motorhome? So if you are off grid, you know, as well as having all the lovely features on there, could you just actually just plug your hookup lead into here and then use it to power the van? And yes, you could. You could use this and it would then turn your fridge over to 240. So it would run the fridge on 240. It would charge your leisure battery in your camper van or motorhome as well from the 240 charger in the van. The only thing I wouldn't suggest is I wouldn't suggest running if you have got a mains powered you know, electric heater like the Truma 6E or 4E. I wouldn't suggest doing that along with the other things as well, because some of those pulling around about 1800 watts. So if you have your fridge on, the battery charger and your Truma on, you know, full heat, with anything else you could exceed the capacity of the inverter that's built into there. So that's just something to bear in mind as well. But yeah, you can obviously use this like mains hookup, just like you would if you were to come to a campsite like this and plug into a post and go, right, okay, well that's my post there. But if you're going off grid, you just simply put this out. You could even put it over the top of the roof of the caravan or the motorhome, dangle it from the side, whatever gets you the best solar. And yeah, you are off grid, generating your own power with two easy to carry around devices that, you know, aren't that much weight. They're not as heavy as some of them that I've tried recently, and for the spec you get, that's brilliant. There is one thing I'm going to say, and that's only because I'm a geek, so I'm finding them a negative, the only negative I can really find about this one, and that is, so it's not got Bluetooth, it's not got Wi-Fi, and there is no app that you can load on your phone to remotely monitor it or to turn things on and off. You just press the buttons on the front. So yeah, for me personally, that's the only downside I can actually think of. Everything else is really good about this. It's also using LiFePO 4 batteries as well. So yeah, modern and very efficient battery technology and BMS system built into this one. which means that the batteries are going to last much longer. If you use this for, you know, every weekend, say, and you recharge it ready for the next weekend, you're going to get about 18 years out of these battery at full capacity, and then they tail off to about 80% for another 10 years, and then afterwards they tail off to 50% for another 10 years. The BMS controls all that. You don't need to worry about that. All you need to do is plug in solar charge if you're doing it that way, or mains charge if you're doing it that way, and then on this side plug in your outputs over the front as well, and that's it. Easy as. But the last time I looked, this was one of the cheapest power packs you can get with this spec, and that's one of the things that I liked about their old model as well, is it was one of the cheapest power packs you could get that has these features on it. I mean, just the 25 amp 12 volt connection on there, like I say, not many others at this price point have that, which, like I said already, it does mean that you can put this in your van and that's it. You've got an inverter for cooking, doing all that. You've got 12 volts there that will easily run a diesel heater. It'll easily run, you know, a fridge, freezer, anything like that, as well as max fans, because they were all installed in my van when I was using its predecessor, which wasn't as powerful as this. And it all worked perfectly, just absolutely perfectly. So that's my review of the AFERY AF-P210 and their 400 watt AFERY solar panel as well. So I hope you like that. If you've got any questions, please do leave them in the comment section down below. And I'm going to see if I can actually go and fit this in my van now, because my my other power pack, yeah, it might have found itself surplus to requirements, because this is that good. Right, anyway, I'll catch you on the next video, folks. See you later. Bye.